Howdy. So the purpose of this video is to show the math behind the derivation of Neumann's rule. And essentially what we're trying to do is we're trying to relate a tensor in the original coordinate system with a tensor in the transformed coordinate system, and then ask the question, how does symmetry restrict or relate these two tensors? So first we're going to say, just in general, if we transform a coordinate system, how does that affect the tensor? And so we're going to think about transforming from, let's say, this particular orientation to something where I basically just rotated the system 90 degrees counterclockwise around that first principal lattice vector. So I'm going to apply just a general rotation matrix, for example. So how are the original tensors related to the tensors in this new coordinate system? And then the second part is, if this is a symmetry transformation, so let's say that 90-degree rotation leaves the structure unchanged, and I know it does for this cubic system, then if that's the case, the original tensor has to equal the transformed tensor. So each individual component of this rank 2 tensor can be matched one by one against a component in the transformed tensor. And that's where the restriction on what this tensor can actually look like comes from. So let's just start thinking about a general transformation matrix. Let's say it's A. And so again, A in this case is going to represent a 90-degree rotation matrix around E sub x. And if I think about the original expression, I can go ahead and multiply both sides of this by A. So A times J equals A times sigma E. And again, just to remember what these things mean, in this case, I'm thinking about the relationship between electric field, E, and current density. And so sigma is a rank 2 tensor that's describing the conductivity of the material. So that's fine. All I'm doing is I'm applying the same operation to both sides, so I shouldn't have changed anything. And then the next thing that we can do, I'm going to rewrite the left-hand side, is to actually add an additional term in here where this product represents the inverse of the matrix A times the matrix A. And so just a quick refresher from linear algebra, the inverse of a matrix times itself equals the identity. And so you can think about this as multiplying it by 1. You're not changing anything. So we can always add this inverse times itself. And so the next step, we're just going to use the associative property to lump these three terms together. And that basically leaves on the left-hand side this A times J, and on the right-hand side, A times E. And then in the middle, I have this cluster of terms. So what we're going to say is that A times J, the product of these two, is basically just the current density in the new transformed coordinate system. And similarly, A times E is the electric field in the new coordinate system. And so just by inspection, this whole term here has to equal the conductivity tensor in the new coordinate system. And so at the end of the day, we found what we're looking for, which is, again, how do we relate this expression on the left times the expression on the right? And all that we're going to say is that the conductivity tensor in the new coordinate system is given by this combination of terms. So just to go through this one more time, A, remember, is our general rotation matrix. I multiplied the left and the right by A. In this second step, all I'm doing is basically, it's like I'm multiplying by 1 here. I'm adding the inverse of a matrix times itself, and that's kind of just getting stuck in the middle here. And then that'll allow me to recluster these things, and I see that on the left-hand side, there's just the transformation matrix times that original current density. On the right-hand side, I have the transformation matrix times that original electric field. And so both of those I can just define as the the current density and the electric field in the new coordinate system respectively. And so then by inspection, this term in the middle equals the conductivity in the new coordinate system. So that is a general math, general derivation. This applies no matter what transformation I have applied. But then we get to this second step, and this is the really special part. So if this is a symmetry transformation, so if applying this operation, this rotation matrix A, leaves the structure unchanged, remember that's the definition of a symmetry transformation. So in this case, if I rotate it 90 degrees, it looks exactly the same. I can't tell whether or not you've rotated 90 degrees or you've rotated 90 degrees a couple times. So if that's true, if A is a symmetry transformation, then the original tensor that I applied here has to equal this transformed tensor. And so basically, any individual component of the tensor, sigma ij, has to equal that same component in the transform system. And so I'm going to have a separate video where I kind of go through this example step by step and show what this means.